Welcome back, friends. In this lecture, we will discuss about data model and data modeling. In the previous lectures itself, we have discussed about data model, types of data model, and data modeling. In this lecture, we will have some brief conceptual definitions and descriptions for data modeling and database design. So actually, a database model is an abstract model that organizes data description, data semantics, and consistency constraints of data. Data model emphasizes on what data is needed and how it should be organized instead of what operation will be performed on data. Data model is like an architect's building plan. When we are speaking about data modeling, it provides a visual representation of data. It enforces business rules, regulatory compliances, and government policies on the data. There are various types of data model in DBMS. They are conceptual data model, logical data model, and physical data model. So these things are related to the three schema architecture what we have discussed in the previous lecture. So the conceptual data model speaks about the conceptual schema that will be the middle layer in the three schema architecture, and the logical data model that is also related to the conceptual data model, as well as the database storage model, that is internal schema model, and the physical data model represent the external schema as well as the internal schema model. The conceptual data model organized, it provides an organized view of database concept and their relationship. It establishes entities, their attributes, and relationships. There are three basic components of conceptual data model that are mentioned as entity, attribute, and relationships. Entity means any real world thing. Attribute means characteristics or properties of an entity. Relationship specifies about dependency or association between two entities. When you are speaking about characteristics of a conceptual data model, it can be designed and developed for business audience. It developed independently of hardware specifications like data storage capacity, location, or storage specifications like DBMS vendor and technology. The conceptual data model represents data as a user will see it in the real world. Also known as domain models, create a common vocabulary for all stakeholders by establishing basic concepts and scope. So as already mentioned, this conceptual data model is related to the middle layer, that is conceptual schema, as well as the external schema which is available in the three schema architecture what we have discussed previously. The next thing is logical data model. It defines the structure of data elements and to set relationship between them. The logical data model adds further information to the conceptual data model elements, which provides a foundation to form the base for the physical model. So by generally speaking, the logical data model is a combination of the middle layer, that is conceptual schema, and the physical layer, that is internal schema of the three schema architecture. So the next is characteristics of logical data model. The logical data model describes data needs for a single project, but it could integrate with other logical data models based on the scope of the project. Logical data model designed and developed independently from the DBMS. The data attributes will have data types with exact precisions and length. Logical data model provides normalization processes to the model, which is applied typically till third normal form. So there are various types of normalization, various levels in normalization. So the details of the normalization and descriptions of the normalization will be discussed in the future lecture. So now I will be just giving you a highlight of the normalization. Normalization is mainly used to avoid the redundancy in the database. So the characteristics of the logical data model provides no primary or secondary key that cannot be defined. The next thing is the physical data model. It describes a database specific implementation of the data model. It helps in visualizing the database structure by replicating database column, keys, constraints, indexes, triggers, and other DBMS or DBMS features. So this data model is related to the internal schema, purely internal schema, which is integrated with the DBMS, which we discussed in the previous lecture. So when we are speaking about the characteristics of the physical data model, it describes data need for a single project or application, though it may be integrated with other physical data models based on project scope. Physical data model is developed for a specific version of a DBMS, location, data storage, or technology to be used in the project. Physical data model provides the columns and it should have exact data types, lengths assigned, and default values. The primary keys and foreign keys, views, indexes, access profiles, and authorization, etc., are defined by using the physical data model. Now, I hope that you all have understood clearly about physical data model, conceptual data model, and logical data model. So the references has been taken from Elmozir Navati, Fundamentals of Database Systems, 7th edition, Pearson Education, and Great Learning online resources. Thank you.